Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the latest episode of the Holton Talks. You're joined by myself, Scott, Jamie, and Aaron. Boys, you okay?
I'm good, mate. You?
Not too bad, mate.
We haven't done an episode for a couple of weeks because we've had a bit going on family-wise, and schedules have been a bit manic. But we are back today. I'll leave it at that. Last game that Villa had was the win at West Ham on Sunday. I'd say a fairly comfortable 2-0 win. And looking at the other results prior to us playing, it was definitely a must-win. Jay, I'll come to you first. Just initial thoughts on the game.
Yeah, well, it's nice to actually see us play. Seem like we can play football. I mean, we haven't felt like that for a while. Yeah, it was decent. I thought all the players really across the board played well. I thought we just looked back to old ways, and from what I hear, the atmosphere was good, and all the players and Emery were asking for it. Well, when you actually start playing football and don't just sit back and play boring side to side football, that's what you get. So the players on the pitch delivered, and us fans backed it up.
Yeah, I think it was the best I've seen us play all season, actually, especially in the first half. Maybe not so good in the second, but I think it's one of the best performances we've had. As are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, just to touch on what Jay said. I thought we looked back to how we used to playing under Emery. I actually thought it'd be quite a tough game because West Ham was sort of picked up a little bit recently, but they didn't really offer us nothing really going forward for them. So yeah, back to winning ways. It was three losses on the bounce, wasn't it, in the Premier League? So yeah, back to winning ways. I thought Watkins looked back to his not fully back to himself, but he looked a bit back to what he's shown in the past before. I think Barkley instead of Louise in there helps because I just think he moves the ball a bit quicker than Dougie. And obviously Guinea was back, which is a massive lift, and obviously Yuri coming off the bench would have lifted him a little bit more as well. So overall, yeah, happy.
I think, yeah, we'll start with McGinn. I mean, I remember me and you, Jay, did a podcast in the summer when he was getting linked with Everton. I don't think we actually put it out, but we were like, 20 million might seem like a lot, but to Villa it's not. And he's shown his worth in the last 2 or 3 games that he's been back to how much of a difference he makes. I mean, how underrated is he outside of the Villa fan base? Because I honestly think he's incredible. His goal at the weekend was we've seen him do that loads of times now, but it's a hell of a finish, that.
I was speaking to someone I know is a Spurs fan about John McGinn, and I was just as he said about how we played on Saturday, and even he said when he watches like Spurs versus Villa, he just like McGinn just runs around. He's like, but you don't really see when you're just watching like 2 games a year against Villa, if you know what I mean. He said you don't really see what McGinn actually offers, but even if you just his work rate, if that's backed up by other players, do you know what I mean? And I think he is. When he got the captaincy, I was a bit unsure, but his leadership skills are pretty up there. I think as well.
Yeah, I agree. Jay, your thoughts on Guinea?
Yeah, I think he's my favourite player. Definitely one of them in the squad. I think the longevity he's had at the club. I think there was a few years ago now. There was obviously rumours. I think there was United and Liverpool, and there was like 40-50 million pound price tags going around. Obviously, nothing ever came to fruition. But then there was that thing in the summer about Everton, and David Moyes wanted him, and I can't see a club. Guinea moving to a club other than Celtic, but that would be again in a few years. Like you look at players and you think, okay, if there's a lot of talk about Sancho at the minute, possibly going to Dortmund in the summer, he wouldn't think twice about that. I'd imagine you can think a big club comes in for Rodgers. he'd go. But that's just what I think anyway. Same with what happened with Martinez in the summer. But with McGinn, I feel like anyone could come in for him and he'd say, "No, I want to play for Villa." And like I says, I feel like that move to Celtic is inevitable in my head, but not for a few years yet because he's still one of our best players. And I can't remember what he either turned 30 or 31, didn't he, a few months ago? And he's putting up mad performances, and you don't realise just how good you've got it until he's gone, and then he's come back, and it'll be the same thing when Tielemans gets into the full swing of things, and then Kamara next season. You think, God, we were really blessed with who we had, and you're more thankful for them. So, yeah, he's terrific, and that goal on Sunday was just the cherry on top, really, for his performance.
We have got to praise Sancho for that goal, haven't we? Did you watch Match of the Day?
And with Sancho's part is that I think his levels are getting better as well, because it was, that first 3 months of the season he was non-existent. I think it was the game away at Chelsea end of December at the Bridge.
It's when he came on, wasn't it, with Watkins that time? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Onana came on, I think, as well, off the top of my head. And they changed the game, and he was just a bit of a bit part player. And then he had the goal at Fenerbahce, and he's kicked on slowly. But the past, 2-3 games, he's been one of our better players. And who knows what's going to happen in the summer regarding him? But I think it was a podcast me and you has done a few months ago, and I said that he's a player that can drag you to places when he's on form, and there's sometimes he gets the ball and he'll keep beating his man, and he'll keep shifting it and getting either the crossing, the shot off, or the pass. And it's just like sometimes I get the vibe from him that he can drag a team forward like Rodgers does. Obviously, he's not as good as Rodgers, and Rodgers can do it in a different way. But Sancho is a player you can give it to, and in certain scenarios, give it and then rely on him doing certain things, similar to how we kind of done with Grealish and how we're kind of doing with Rodgers now, but obviously with Sancho to a less of an extent. But yeah, right now I'll be happy if we signed him on a free if the wages were right. But obviously, who knows what the summer's going to hold.
Yeah, I mean, one of you just touched on Tielemans as well. The whole match day squad obviously looked a lot better on Sunday. Tielemans coming off the bench. I've written down Barkley and Onana. Now, I thought Barkley was very good. Doesn't really do anything now that's like wow off your seat. Just does the simple things pretty well. Keeps the ball ticking along. I've got a question about Onana. So I thought Onana was really good when Kamara, Tielemans were both fit, to the point that we were having conversations saying you can't actually leave him out. Then Kamara and Tielemans and Guinea get injured, and Onana fell off a cliff. And then Sunday, he was back to being really good again. Is that any coincidence that it's because he's got people vying for his shirt? Or do you just think it was bad luck at the time and the whole team was playing not great? He's got sucked into that. Or a case of he knew he was going to play and was just going through the motions?
It's hard with Onana because every now and again he put in like an incredible performance.
He was good at the weekend.
Yeah. Well, I also don't. Obviously, he wasn't used to playing next to Louise in midfield for starters. I know they're both good players, but obviously he's playing with someone different in there. And obviously you two prefer Louise to me, as you know. But whether that was a thing in his form, you don't know. But like you said, the whole team weren't playing great. So even if he makes like a simple pass and it doesn't come off, and do you know what I mean? It's just one of them things. But I actually, like you said, I don't think he is droppable at this moment in time, even though he's going through a bit of a sticky spell. But he offers us something different that I don't think any of our midfield offer. Just with his sheer power and strength that he offers and his height.
I mean, you think, and one of you can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but with no Kamara out for the rest of the season, you'd think the starting from midfield onwards would be Onana, Tielemans, McGinn, Rodgers, Sancho, Watkins. Would you both agree on that?
where
Yeah, I
you
think
put
that'd
McGinn
be.
out wide or in the midfield.
McGinn or Rodgers as the 10, either or, depending on the opposition.
I think that would be probably the most across the average from now to the end of the season. That would probably be what you come across as the players that start the most.
Realistically, if we keep that 6 fit, do you think now we've built the gap up in the top 4? Do you think that we will push on and keep in the top 4?
I'd like to think so. We have, I think, out of the running, I think ours is one of the hardest. If you look at the fixtures that the other teams have got, especially obviously our last two, Liverpool and City. Obviously, we got Tottenham in there. I know they're not playing great, but it's still Tottenham at Villa Park. We always seem to suffer, don't we, against Tottenham at Villa Park? So we have got some tricky fixtures still. But yeah, I think we have to do everything now just to get into that top 5 to guarantee us champion. I reckon if we don't qualify for the Champions League this season, it's a failure.
Well, the next round of fixtures, we have Forest away, who are obviously fighting relegation, but you'd think that we would at least pick up something. Liverpool have Fulham, Chelsea go to City, which won't be obviously easy. And United have Leeds, which is at Old Trafford, but Leeds United is obviously normally a tasty one. Jay, what's your stance now on the top 4? We've obviously got a 5-point gap to Liverpool and a 6-point to Chelsea. 7 games to go. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was chatting to a Chelsea fan on Saturday, and he said he hit the nail on the head, and he was like, if a team can put, like, whether it be us, Chelsea, Liverpool, United, if you can, well, we've seen it with United, if you can put a run of just from now to the end of the season, if you can just win 4 or 5 games on the spin, you more or less confirm your place in the top 5 because of how poor the sides have been. United haven't been great this season, only just recently kicked in. We've been poor the last, 2 months. Liverpool have been so inconsistent, and now Chelsea, since they've brought Rosenior in, they had a couple good games, but since the last, I think apart from the game against us, they've been awful. So it's like the teams up there, including us, have been so inconsistent. If we can get to the point of where we're playing Liverpool City, and already be solidified in the top 5, are only needing a point, and then you might go City and they've already locked in at second, they can't move, and if they progress in the FA Cup, they might have an FA Cup final to look forward to. I don't know, but I'd like to think that with the players we're getting back, McGinn, Tielemans, less pressure off of Onana's shoulders from what you guys obviously were talking about earlier, I think we can finish top 5 just because I think we're going to build consistency through McGinn and Tielemans being back, bearing in mind them two alongside Kamara are our 3 best midfielders. Having them 2 back consistent as always, I think if we can put a little run together, we'll be top 5.
Are you ruling out Everton and Brentford for that top 5? Because Everton are 3 points behind Liverpool. So if you say Villa, Liverpool, and Chelsea lose their next round of games, and Everton and Brentford win, Everton are level of points with Liverpool, and Brentford are a point behind.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that you look at the gap we had at, say, end of December from us to Brentford, and now you look at how much that's closed, not just us, but everyone. That just shows how bad we've been. That shows how bad Liverpool and Chelsea have been as well. Like, everyone's been playing so bad. And again, I was with a load of Chelsea fans on Saturday, and they were all saying that Rosenior is the worst manager they've ever seen, and they said that this is the worst group. Like, the players, the way they're playing is the worst they've had in a very long time. And we're looking at that time without Tielemans, Guinea, and Kamara, and we're saying that that we look like relegation fodder. And then start the season, Liverpool, people are saying Slot should be sacked. So it's like everyone's had such a bad spell at some point this season. Usually, you kind of coast through and consistently pick up points, whereas this season has just been pure on form and momentum. Hopefully, we kick into gear now of those players coming back. But I do agree, the likes of Brentford and Everton, they're in the mix as well. And I think if we don't get top 5 at win the Europa League, you'll have 6 teams in the Champions League next season. So it's like one of the, like two, including those 6 teams, 2 of them could be Everton and Brentford. You really don't know.
I think the next 2 set of fixtures are the big ones, because the ones after I just touched on, you've got Chelsea United, which is obviously key for taking points off each other. The Sunday, we've got Sunderland, and then it's Liverpool Everton and City Arsenal. Obviously, City and Arsenal kind of out of it, but
Sunderland's away form is pony as well. I know it just beats Newcastle, but apart from that, their away form's pretty shit.
Away from home. But I think if we can get something from Forest and then beat Sunderland, you're looking at who the other teams around us are playing, and they're not all going to win. So at some point, you're dropping points. And then the week after that, we actually play 12:30 against Fulham. So you could be going into the end of April, having played, going into the 3 o'clock games with quite a good gap if you play your cards right.
I think, sorry, Scott, as well. Craven Cottage, obviously under Emery, we've been really good, and that Forest, I'm pretty sure that was their first league win since Pereira was in charge. So
it was Pereira's first win all season as manager in the Premier League.
Oh yeah, because he started off at Wolves, didn't he? But yeah, it's I know he hasn't been in there long, but it was only their first win on the weekend. So, I'm still thinking we can go to their place and pick up all 3 points if we have a sharp Yuri Tielemans and John McGinn back.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you can get to...
Would you take 7 points from Forest away, Sunderland at home and Fulham away? You take 7 points, I'd imagine. And then, like I said, you're going to the 3 o'clock kickoffs with that sort of gap.
Well, because the next 2 after that then are Tottenham and Burnley. Which, if, Burnley by that point will be gone. There's no doubt about it. Relegated. Which then obviously you want to try and get it done before Liverpool and City. You don't know where City will be coming into the season, but Liverpool, the last home game, should be bouncing if we need a result. But I personally think the next 2 round of fixtures are massive, because if Villa gets 6 points, there's no possible way that any other team gets 6 points because of the way the fixtures fall.
Yeah.
The only downside for us is European games. Obviously, Chelsea aren't in Europe no more. Man United aren't. Liverpool got PSG in the next round, which I can't see them winning. So if we do progress quite far in Europa League, out of them 4 teams, we're probably going to be the only ones left in Europe, which might play a part. You don't know, but
I think it's handy, obviously, us getting our squad back as well, because you look at that midfield alone, you've got Dougie, Barkley, Onana, McGinn, Tielemans, Bogard as well. All those players that can slot in the rotation in midfield. Obviously, Bogard, cash centre half. You've got right back. Sorry, you've got plenty of depth centre half, left back. Not too sure what's going on with Bezo, but obviously you've got Martinez, and obviously I know we haven't got great strength and depth in the sense of, if you look on the bench, we've got Buendia and Bailey, but you still have got bodies that you can rotate for a second leg if you're cruising. So it's important that we are getting our squad slowly back together.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't see being in Europe as a hindrance now. I think if you keep progressing through the rounds, you're just breeding confidence at this stage, because you're beating teams along the way. So I think it was good to see Villa take advantage of other teams not picking points up, which is a big takeaway, especially playing last, because we've obviously thrown at them before that. We never really seem to take advantage of any chances that we get given, and other teams take advantage of times when we don't pick up results. So to be the only team in the top 6 to actually win all weekend, a blight that City and Arsenal obviously didn't play, but we were the only team in the top 6 to win, which makes a massive difference in the table. We'll just touch on Watkins before we get into the quiz. He obviously took his goal very well to get in a position, but his general play was very good. I thought when he come on against Lille in the second leg, he looked good. Could it be a kick up the arse because he hasn't been picked for the last England squad prior to the World Cup, or is it just he's had some good games this season and then he's had a few bad games? Or do we think he might go on a little run now?
I think for us to be successful for this season, Watkins needs to find form. So we got Tammy there, but he doesn't offer us what Watkins offers us. But so like you said, West Ham, he was good when he came on against Lille. He was good. Took his goal well at the weekend there. But then on the other hand, he had a couple of chances the weekend. You know what I mean? And if he doesn't get that goal, everyone's like, "Oh, Watkins hasn't scored again." Do you know what I mean? But I think for us to be successful this season, I think we need a foreign Watkins towards the end of the season. And I think his omission from the England squad will probably do us favour because he's going to want to try and get back in it, isn't he? So for that to happen, he's got to score a few goals to now in the end of the season. So to answer to your question, I think, yeah, it's only a good thing for us that he's been left out of the England squad.
Do you think? I think he must be on 8 or 9 league goals now this season.
I think he's on 10, I think, because Welbeck's got the most with English in the Premier League with 12. Either 9 or 10, yeah.
If he can get to
15.
It would obviously be a pretty decent return in what's been a fairly poor season for him. Do you think that's the aim? It's got to be that he's hitting them numbers, because if he's scoring, then obviously it's a big plus for us. Joe?
It's no coincidence that we had our best performance of the season when he's playing well. I think you look at Chelsea again away, when he come off the bench, we kick into gear. Even Brighton away, he was clinical, and that was probably the best away game of the season. I think it was evident when Emery first came in. We play a lot through our 9, whoever that may be. They're not just a finisher, how you'd see Haaland play at City. They do tend to drop deep at times and sometimes even drift wide. So obviously at times this season, it feels like how it did with Rodgers at the start of the season, to be fair. It feels like, you're playing with 10 men sometimes when Watkins gets on the ball, and he's having one of those games because he can't beat a man to save his life. His passing's atrocious and he can't hold the ball up. But then when he's, on form, he does all those things correct. And it's such a boost to us defensively, getting up the pitch with his pressing as well. And obviously offensively as well. He's a key contributor to what we have going forward. So, like he says, if he can end up on, 14, 15 goals, then you'd like to think we'd be in those top 5 places.
Yeah, realistically, this is going to be the only World Cup that he would go and play in. But now he's going to have to go on a good old bit of form to get back in there. So I think it bodes well for Villa that he can. It also gives Tammy time to adjust to how we're playing. I've seen a few things on like TikTok, stuff like that, where they're saying, how isn't Tammy playing? And my argument back has been that Tammy doesn't play like Holly, and Villa don't play a way that suits Tammy yet. So you either change the way that we play to suit Tammy, or Tammy has to learn to slightly adjust the way that he plays to suit the current playing style, which isn't going to be a quick thing.
Well, I don't think Abraham has played well enough when he's come on recently to warrant a starting place, if you know what I mean.
No, but I think some of that is to do with style.
Correct, yeah.
He wants to crossed and,
Do you know what I've been surprised at, which I actually remember? The main thing I remember from the Championship days with Tammy was how bad he was at finishing. I always felt like he squandered too many chances, similar to what we say about Watkins. But one thing I forgot about Tammy, because he hasn't had too many chances, to be fair, but one thing I forgot is that how bad he is with long balls in the air. I haven't seen, I don't see him win any headers from when the ball's up in the air. And I think for someone that's about 6'3", 6'4", I don't know why. So I was looking at him thinking you should be dominating people in the air. Like a similar thing to Pau Torres. He's 6'3", 6'4", and yet he's pissing the air. And I get the same vibe with Tammy. Like he'll jump, but as he jumps, he like ducks his head, and I don't understand why he does that because he's bigger than everyone else. Yeah, it just annoys me.
I think he wants crosses into the box, but we don't put balls up to him. I think the Newcastle FA Cup game, he was really sharp in that first half, and his hold-up play was really good. But he holds the ball up in a different way that Ollie would hold it up.
Yeah, but even balls up long to him in the air when he's competing with a centre half, the centre half always wins it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I don't know.
If you watch next time Tammy comes on, when a ball comes up to him, yeah, just have a look. The next time we play, a centre half will win it 100%, and with the ball up in the air.
Yeah, and do you think that's because we're playing slightly? If we're going more direct to Ollie, we try and play it into feet or a knee or something like that to try and get hold of it. Maybe we're just whacking it up because it's Tammy, but
yeah.
I think he's still got time. He's still got a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
But it was good to see Ollie playing well and scoring for us and for him. Do we want to touch on anything else that's been going on?
I think Martinez coming back into a good bit of form. Back to the Martinez of old. Obviously, we spoke about that small decline he's been on. Still on that decline, probably. But you know, no matter what performances he put in for us, he's going to be the main event come World Cup time for Argentina because he's different for them, like how Pickford is for England. But how he was in the week against Lille, how he was for West Ham, we spoke that he's a level above Bizot before, but in terms of the goalies in the Premier League, he is among the best. And I still think we take him for granted at times, even though he's had a poor season. Or last season he weren't the best, and he's had some wobbly moments this season, but he's starting to, kick up a bit of form at the minute, like Sancho has. So,
do you know who else I actually thought had their best game in a long time on Sunday was Pau Torres?
Yeah, we play a completely different way with Pau, and
his passing was on point again.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times you need the right game to play Pau, but I feel like it might be that Ty's getting on a bit and he's coming into his prime, but it's getting to the point now where I'm thinking, Pau just should play, because you can see when we're on the ball, it's a totally different outlet, which you don't get with many centre halves in the world. To be fair,
he suits us when we've got more of the ball in the game. When we got less possession, that's when he seems to struggle.
Yeah, but imagine if you had if you're playing it again home to Tottenham, if they're still under the same manager, if you had Powell and then you have say Barkley or Dougie, let's say Barkley and Tielemans as the two double pivots, you've got three players there from deep that can play those balls in between the lines. Whereas a few months ago we didn't have none of them, so that's where the struggles came. So yeah, I think Powell is superb. And yeah, you can just see we play a completely different way when he's playing.
Yeah, let's just hope. I think there was a lot of positives from Sunday. The result, McGinn being obviously on the score sheet and playing well, Tielemans being back. I think individual performances, Torres, Watkins, Barkley was good, Sancho was good. Let's just hope we can springboard that now into the last 7 games. I think if you can get 4 or 5 wins out of 7, you will get top 4. And fingers
even
crossed.
4, to be fair, if you can just get through, I reckon if you get 4 wins and a draw, with how inconsistent this league has been this season, that might even do it.
Well, realistically, if we get 4, that means Chelsea have got to get 6, 7.
And they've been shocking. Literally, apart from the result against us, they've been getting battered. Yeah. they've been drawing and losing.
Falling off. Liverpool are inconsistent. You don't know the news of Salah going, what that will do for them. It might have an adverse effect, or it might, springboard them into life. But I think, 3 or 4 wins and Villa will be there or thereabouts. And the terms, Bruce. Right, we've done half hour on that. I will give it over to Azzy to do the weekly quiz.
Scott versus Jamie. 45 Scott, 37 Jamie. We are going back to naming clubs with a starting letter. But so there's 10 teams with this letter. There's 5 teams from League 2, 1 from League 1, 2 from the Championship, and 1 from the Premiership. If you name the Premiership team, you get 1 point. If you name the Championship team or the League 1 teams, you get 2 points. If you give me a League 2 team, you get 3 points. The letter we are looking for is C. Scott, keep your head down. How many fingers? 1 or 2 am I holding up?
1.
Correct. You get to go first. So remember, if you give me a League 2 team, 3 points. League 1 or Championship team, you get 2 points. Or if you give me the Premiership team, you get 1 point.
So hang on.
is this go on, Scott.
Championship, League 1 and League 2.
Premiership, there's 1 team from the Premiership. If you name it, you get 1 point. There's 2 teams from the Championship and 1 team from League 1. If you name any of them 3, you get 2 points. If you give me a team from League 2, you get 3 points. And there's 6 teams in League 2. So there's 10 in total, 5 guesses each.
Beginning with C, yeah?
Yep, Scott to go first.
Cardiff.
Cardiff is the team in League 1, so you get 2 points. Jay?
Crawley.
Crawley is in League 2, so you get 3 points.
Mine's gone blank already.
Crew.
Crew are in League 2, well done. 3 points for you, Scott.
I'll go for Cambridge.
Cambridge is correct, Jay. 3 points.
That's on my list.
Ooh.
Chesterfield.
Oh, no.
Chesterfield is correct. League 2, another 3 points, Scott.
I'm going to go for... I don't know if they're non-league or not. I'm just going to take the risk. Cheltenham.
Cheltenham's correct, Jay. League 2, 3 points.
My mind's gone blank already.
You got the 1 from the Premiership, 2 from the Championship, and there's 1 left in League 2 for a 3-pointer. You've got
Colchester.
Colchester. Scott is correct. That's the last of the League 2. 3 points for Scott. So you got 2 from the Champ, 1 from the Prem now. Championship will get you 2 points. Premiership will get you 1 point.
My go, yeah? Is it? My go. Coventry.
Coventry, correct, Jay. Gives you 2 points.
So the 2 that I've got left, Charlton being one of them.
Charlton, correct. 2 points for you, Scott. Jay.
Chelsea
for 1 point. Well done. So there was 8 points in it. There's now 9 points in it. Scott moves out to 58. Jamie on to 49.
That's annoying because I think I got League 2 because you went first, Scott. I got League 2 with all my available goes. My guesses.
You got 3 each on League 2.
Yeah.
Scott got 2. Scott got Charlton and Cardiff from the Championship of League 1, which gave him the extra point.
Yeah.
I thought you would struggle more with that, but there we go. Well done. You named all 10 in quick succession.
To be fair, Scott named a few that wouldn't have come to my mind. I got Chesterfield, Cambridge, Crawley, Cheltenham, Chelsea, Coventry down here. I wouldn't have thought of Colchester.
I just tried to work back from League 2 and then knew the others.
Yeah, that was a good one, Azzy.
So, 58-49. Coming to the end of the season, Jay. You need to get some points back, mate.
I just need to go first, maybe, because that would have been it. Because if I went first, I would have started with a League 2 team instead of a League One.
Scott went first and went League 1, which I found weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I feel like
down and I put Cardiff first, so I just read out the list I've done.
Because if I started with Crawley, you would have initially probably said Cardiff because that was your first one. So I probably would have got an extra League Two side while you went League One, if you know what I mean. Because I went first. Because you gobbled up the rest of the League Two sides.
Gobble, gobble. Right, that'll do. If you haven't already, go and subscribe to the channel. We will be getting back on it. I've been flat out with work. Like I said, we've had some bits and bobs going on, but we'll get back on it. We'll be getting back, and yeah, we've got about 2 months left of the season, 7 league games, and hopefully 5 Europa League games to go, which obviously isn't a lot. But thanks for watching, and we will be back very soon. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.